Good morning, everyone. It's Desiree. This is me today. We are in the midst of a weird little event in School District 2 where we don't know if we're starting school tomorrow or if we are transitioning to remote learning. So I'm a little stressed, to say the least. So forgive me if I'm not concerned about the way I look. But it's important for you to know that I am focused on what we're doing in EDU 270, and so here is my second video for this class. We are starting Unit 1 this week, and I just want to talk to you guys for a quick second. I started getting some email and some text from students saying, so what do we do, or where are we at, or how can we tell? And I'm sorry if I didn't make that very clear, but let me just make sure that this makes sense to you. On our classroom website, which I'll go to in just a minute, there will always be a date. And so there was one date on our classroom website. It was August 19th. That was just the beginning of our class, and we were doing introductions, and you had a few assignments. And so if you don't see anything else under there, that means it's not active yet. You don't have to do it yet. And so today I am preparing you for August 26th. And so when you go to our classroom website, you'll see the date, August 26th, and then there will be hyperlinks and more information for you to learn and build upon. So you don't have to worry. Like, some of you've already shared a Google Doc with me, and that's fine. That's great. You know, if you can get through some of the things without having any instruction, go ahead. But you're not required to go ahead. Unless I've given you the assignment, you don't have to do it yet. So sit back and relax and just know, literally, guys, like, I'm working full time at two schools in the school district, and I teach two classes up at the college. So I promise this is not like a ton of information crammed into one thing and you've got to get it all done. I've spread it all out. You have time to get things done. I promise I will tell you when I give you an assignment. But don't stop the questions, don't stop the communication, because it really is important to me that we have this clarification and make sure that we're all on the same page. So thank you for that. Okay, so Unit 1 is all about Google, and it's one of my favorite units because, number one, we've been a Google for Education school since, oh gosh, like 2010 maybe? It maybe even longer. School District 2 was the first school in Montana to actually join Google and use Google Enterprise and become a Google for Education school. So if you're looking to get a job in School District 2, you need to make sure you have a very solid knowledge of Google and all of the tools in education. And I hope that this unit, if you're not already really comfortable with it, I hope this unit helps you become comfortable with it. Okay, so let's dive in. Just a quick rundown. Today, some assignments that you're going to have, which I'll go over again. You're going to create a Google account if you haven't already, and then you're going to join Google Classroom, because that's where all of our discussions and assignments posts will be. You're going to share a Google Doc with me, and I'll give you the email address that I want you to use to share, and then I'm going to give you some specific things I want you to put into that document. And actually, this is all in the class outline if you wanted to follow that too. And then there are two posts that are due in Google Classroom next week. The first post is you're going to share some extensions with me that you've learned about, and then the second post is you're going to share your curation tool that you decided to use. You're going to share that collection address with me, and don't worry if you don't have anything in the collection, because it's not due until the end of the semester. I just want to know that you're looking at it and you're getting ready to start your collection. So All I'm looking for is you've got a collection started and you're going to share that with me. Okay, even if you just save one website, that's perfect. Like our classroom website, maybe. Okay. So shall we get started? Let's go ahead and go to our Google Suite for Education presentation. Make sure you have a Google account because everything from here on out often uses Google. Okay, so you might recognize a lot of these icons on the screen right now, and you might not have known that they're Google icons. So let's go through some of these. This is the icon for the Google Chrome web browser, and I recommend you use Google Chrome for your web browser for a lot of different reasons, but one of the big ones is it is super streamlined. You can create multiple connections. You can create connections to multiple accounts, and you can use these amazing things called extensions and add-ons, which I'll explain in a little bit. You get the tools for Google from the web store, and 99% of them are free, but just an FYI, some do cost. Google Drive, that's what that symbol is, and Google Drive is just like your virtual hard drive. It's where all of your files are stored. Google Docs is where you do your word processing, and you guys have an assignment this week to create a Google Doc and share it with me. YouTube, did you guys know that YouTube was a Google tool? You might not have, and that's okay. We actually have a YouTube channel for this class, and I'll be sharing that with you in a little bit. Google Sheets is a spreadsheet tool, and let me tell you, Sheets is an amazing tool. You can do so many great things in there, so if you haven't taken the time to learn how to use a spreadsheet, I strongly advise you to use this class time to do that. Google Drawing. Google has a really good drawing tool that I use a lot with my teaching of my elementary students. I use it a lot to make worksheets too, and I use it a lot just to make images that I'll share out digitally. So it's a super powerful tool. Google Forms. I use Google Forms all the time. As a matter of fact, you have used a couple of them already in this class, and this is the most straightforward tool to gather information that I know of. You can even create quizzes in Google Forms. We're going to be using this tool, so I hope you're familiarizing yourself with all these icons because you're going to see them. Google Classroom, that's the tool that I use to share out and collect information with my students in grades 2 through 5. And so I wanted to make sure I used it with you in this class because it is an authentic learning tool. And you're going to see how it works this unit. All right, now, I bet you didn't know, but there are a couple of other tools that are really super cool. One of them is Google Keep, and you might not have heard of it, so I encourage you to explore this. By the way, this presentation that I'm going through will be linked on our classroom website, and it has hyperlinks built into it. So just an FYI, as you're learning more about the Google tools, use those hyperlinks in the presentation to explore further. Okay, sorry. Google Keep is a note-taking tool. It's kind of like virtual sticky notes. Here's the cool thing. You can collaborate on the sticky notes. You can share out sticky notes. I'm going to be using this with my students to learn more about them this year. I'm at a new school this year and I don't know any of the students. So I thought a fun way at the beginning of the school year was to have them create a Google Keep note and share it with me. I'm the only other one that gets to see it, and they can share some things with me, like maybe they have some goals, or maybe they have some fears, or maybe there's something specifically that they want me to know that maybe nobody else needs to know. So it's a pretty cool tool, and I encourage you to look at it. Obviously, Google Slides, you've probably even created a Google Slide yourself. This website that we're on right now is a Google Slide. Yeah, you can turn Google Slides into web pages with the click of a button. It's super cool. Google Photos is another amazing tool that you might not have known was really powerful, but Never, ever, ever should you lose storage space on your mobile device, like a cell phone or an iPad, because you have too many photos. If you have Google Photos installed on your phone or your device, it automatically backs up the photos that you take on your device. So I take my phone everywhere. I take pictures all the time. And because I have Google Photos installed on my phone, I don't have to keep the photos on my phone. They are automatically backed up to Google Photos. What? Super cool. Okay, we're going to be talking about Google Chrome specifically, and I'm going to open up a tab and show you a couple of things that you might not have been aware of, and I think that this is really important to understand. So, Google Chrome, I explained, is one of my favorite tools because it's super streamlined. It allows you, it's a personalized browser. When you sign into your Google account, everything that you use, your tools, all your features, your settings are there for you. And then obviously easy bookmarking with the bookmark bar. And so I'm going to show you a couple of those things. Okay, let's talk about the Omnibox. I'm going to come up here and get a new tab. And this area right here is the Omnibox. Notice when I click on it, I get anything that I have searched for in recent days. But when I click in the Omnibox, I can also use it as a productivity tool. So if I type in the word define and I say integration, let's just use that word, define integration, and I hit enter, I automatically get a dictionary entry for the word. I get its pronunciation, I get the type of word it is, I get it used in a sentence. I mean, I get all kinds of things. Just a quick dictionary from this Omnibox. The Omnibox is also a calculator. So if you're trying to figure out what 37 times 59 is, just put it in like that and you automatically get a calculator. And not just any old calculator, a scientific calculator. And I can use it right in here. So I can just clear this and I can say 5 times 6 times 6 equals, and then I get my answer with what I put in as the formula. Super cool. I love this too. Convert 72 Fahrenheit to Celsius, and I love the autofill. And now I get a conversion table. But look at this. This is a drop-down menu, and so I can actually do all these different conversions. So if I wanted to convert, let's do a foot, 1 foot to, no, let's do 52 feet to inches, and it automatically converts it. So 52 feet is actually 624 inches. Look at all the different things that you have that you can convert. I think this is really amazing. There are so many different ways that you can use the Omnibox. I can't show you everything, but I will show you one more thing, and I think you probably already know this, but just in case. The Omnibox is actually a search bar as well. So if I were to look up what is the last battle of the Civil War, it's already going to pull it up for me, so I'm just going to hit enter, and it automatically becomes a search engine with really quick results, and maybe not always the best source pops up first, so be careful when you're looking at that. Okay. One last thing that I want to talk to you about that's kind of related to the Omnibox, and that is the search bar in Google. A lot of people don't realize that the search bar has a lot more features than just being a search bar. So I'm going to type in Mustang, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit minus car minus automobile. Got to spell it right. Sorry. Okay. This is what's called a Boolean search. A Boolean search means you're adding terms to your search. If you think about a minus sign, what do you think that would mean? Yeah, it means take it away. So I'm looking for Mustang, but I don't want the car results and I don't want the automobile results. So let's see what we get. Okay, now there's all different kinds. Oh, look what we pulled up. Way too many results for us to be able to do anything, right? So if I would have typed in another qualifying word like horse and then hit enter, let's see what happens. Well, now we've limited our results a little bit, but if we look across the top here, we have some narrowing tools available to us. So if we know we're looking for images of wild Mustangs or the horse Mustang, and look how that just pulled up, and it must be because there's not the word car or automobile in, or maybe because it's in the sponsored area. Sometimes that happens too. So we can see the pictures that we're pulling up. Now, maybe I want to do something with one of these images and I want to bring it into a document. If you look right here, there's a thing called tools. And now I can actually narrow my search a little bit. So if I'm going to bring an image into a presentation, I want to make sure I go to size and I say large. Because if I get a small image and I want to make it larger in a presentation or in a document, I will do something called distort it or pixelate it. But if I bring in a large image, I can always shrink it and it doesn't lose its beautiful resolution. So tools, image, large, color. If I want to make sure I can see the background in my image, then I would want to click transparent. And what that allows is for you to put these images into a presentation and have them on top of other images, and then you can see the image through. So that's really cool. Usage rights is really important. So labeled for, a lot of times if you say labeled for non-commercial use, that's the best reuse. Now, if you're sharing out your presentation, you really want to change the usage rights. But if you're just creating this and it's not going to be shared out, or you're not going to try and sell it, or you know it's not going to be public, you can actually use not filtered by license. Image type, clip art, line drawing, GIF. You might want to change some of those. Here is the reason that I'm going through all of this. I want you to know that the Google search engine is more than just clicking in this bar, typing some words and hitting enter. For every type of search you have features that you can control. Oftentimes I do a search and I say I want to know what has been posted most recently. So I might say the past month. So this long spiel is all to tell you that the search engine in Google is super powerful if you know how to use it. Hopefully you're seeing that. Okay, so we went over Omnibox, and related to the Omnibox is the search engine. These two are tied together, okay? All right, so hopefully you can see that Google Chrome is super powerful and the Omnibox itself is a super powerful tool. Okay, so you can use the Omnibox to search, you can use it as a calculator or converter, dictionary. There are a lot of other things you can do with it, but those are the ones I see as most important. Sign in to Chrome, because when you sign in, your Google account pulls everything that you own with you. And I just want to show you how you can tell. If I click right here, or excuse me, if I hover right here, it shows my username and it shows the icon that I have for my username right here, and I'm signed in. When I am signed in, then I get all the tools and bookmarks that I have saved in my Google account. Another thing I want to show you is how easily it is to bookmark using Google Chrome. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to a website that I use all the time. It's ISTE.org, and this is the International Society for Technology Education. And it's a site that has a ton of information, like the technology standards for students and teachers, which we're going to be going over in the future. I want to bookmark this tool. I want to be able to find it very quickly, and I want to be able to find it no matter where I'm at. As long as I have internet access, I want to be able to access this website. This is how you use the bookmark bar. You come up here to the Omnibox where this little logo is. Sometimes it's going to be a padlock, sometimes it's going to be an icon. You simply drag it down until you see the pipe appear below the bar. Wherever the pipe is where your website is going to end up. So if it's an important one and I want to have it at the very beginning, I might put it here. When I let go, that bookmark is now there. So I'm just going to close this tab, get a new tab, click on my bookmark. Pretty cool, huh? Now, do you notice that a lot of my bookmarks don't have any words? That's because they have icons that I know what they mean. And so what you can do with your bookmarks is you can right click on them, or control click on them works as well, and you can say edit, and you can remove the name, and then you're aware of what it is by the icon. I happen to know that this is the ISTE icon, and if I hover over it, it tells me it's ISTE. So I can get more bookmarks visible to me. Look at my City Brew one. That's just because I sometimes meet students at City Brew, not because I'm addicted to City Brew, by the way. You can get more bookmarks on your bookmark toolbar if you do it that way. Okay, I hope that helped. Now I'm going to come back here, and let's talk about the app launcher and the web store. The app launcher and the web store are pretty powerful, especially in education, because you have a plethora of tools at your fingertips just because you have a Google account. Now, I have a school Google account, so my web store and my app launcher might look different from yours, so just be aware of that. By the way, these are hyperlinks that you will have available to you when you click through the presentation on our website. I strongly recommend you explore the apps for education and top apps for this year, top extensions for this year. Okay, let me show you how this works. If I click the plus sign, because I don't want to mess up anything I'm in right now, I have right here on the left-hand side an apps button. When I click on that, it's going to show me any apps that I have available to me, and these icons should look familiar to you. I went to the next page here. See, I have 2 pages, so I just swiped over. I've added 2 additional tools to my apps, and here's how I did it. When I go to the apps page, down here in the bottom right hand corner, you might not see it, my recording might cut this off, but it says web store. And when I click on it, I'm literally at the web store. Now, this is where you can get extra tools to add to your Chrome. You're personalizing your Chrome account and your Chrome web browser to work for you. So there might be a tool, something like a photo editor that you might be interested in. So I'm going to hit photo editor and see what I get. Believe it or not, we do a lot of photo editing in education, so I would definitely look for something that you might be interested in. Now, I'm looking right here and it says extensions, and that's not an app, is it? Notice right now that it says the only thing I have available to me are extensions and themes. Sometimes apps do not show up, so you have to kind of you have to make sure you're in the right area to see apps, or you're looking for the right thing. Okay, I'm going to actually look for some, and let me just explain really quickly. Apps are tools that are made that run inside your Chrome web browser, but they're literally, they're not necessarily connected to your web browser. It's almost like tools that you install on your computer. Applications. Extensions are tools that extend the use of your web browser or the tools inside your web browser. I'll give you a quick example. I'm going to back out of my photo editor and I'm going to go to YouTube Downloader. Yeah, you can download YouTube videos. Okay. When you look at these types of things, and themes are just looking at your web browser differently. So I'm going to go to Video Downloader Plus. Now I'm just going to give you a quick thing. I don't know what Video Downloader Plus is. It's not one that I use. I'm currently in a personal Google account, and so I don't have a lot of access to the tools that I have if I'm in my Google Education account. So just be aware of that. Okay, here's how it works. If I look at this tool and I think, oh, this is cool, I can actually download these videos from any website. It says save any online video from your favorite website to this video downloader. I think, oh wow, that's super cool. I click add to Chrome, and then I say add the extension, which I really don't want, so I'm not going to. When I click add the extension, then it shows up over here in my extensions toolbar, okay? And we're gonna go over some of these extensions because these are some of my favorite right here. And so when you are adding extensions, I'm just gonna click the back button. When you're adding extensions, it literally adds it like you are extending Google Chrome. Okay, I'm gonna do a different one really quickly. This one is called Bitly. And this is a super cool tool because what this does is it takes an ultra long URL and it shortens it. So let me give you an example. I'm gonna go back to, so I connected this, I added it, it's already here. Here's the icon right here. So this is an extension I've added already. If you look right here, if I wanted to share this information with you, the URL is ridiculous. I can't use this. I can't share this with you. So what I can do is I can use Bitly. I'm on the website and I come over here and I click on the Bitly icon. Oh, I'm gonna have to do it in a different account. Sorry, that was my bad. I'll explain this in just a second. Okay, I'm gonna use a different website. Let me just publish this really quickly so you can see it. Sometimes when you're in your personal account versus your education account, different things, like I go back and forth between multiple personal and multiple educational accounts. And so sometimes there are things that work, like if I create it in one account and then I go to edit it in another account, that doesn't work. So that was what happened there. Okay, let's say I wanted to take this presentation and I wanted to shorten it. So I created this in my Google account and I'm going to use the Bitly that's attached to my Google account. So I click on it and it pops up with this little, let me try a different web address. Maybe that's what's going on. Sorry about that, guys. I was not expecting that to happen. So let's just take even this short URL. It's not as long as I wanted it to be, but who cares? Let me show you how Bitly works. I click on it and it pops up with this little sidebar and it says, oh, you want to make this long website shorter by just creating a few extra characters. Here's what's super cool about Bitly. I can actually take this and I can customize it. So I could say EDU 270 standards. And now this is the actual, if I click save, which I'm not going to, this is actually the actual web address that I can share with you. I could shorten it even more because that's almost longer than the web address that is there. But I just wanted to give you the steps so you could see how it works. Okay, I'm going to close this really quickly. I'm going to jump back to me. So Bitly is one of those tools that allows you to quickly create a shortened URL for a web address. I have no idea why Bitly won't let me create a shortened URL for a Google presentation that I've turned into a web page. I've done it before And so I'm not sure why it won't let me. Ooh, I'm gonna try something. Since you're a captive audience, I'm gonna just try it a different way because I like trying to figure things out. So I'm gonna go, to bit.ly, and instead of using the extension, I'm just going to use the tool itself. So I'm going to log in with my Google account. Here we go. This is another thing that is really nice, is you can connect all these different tools to your Google account so you have one login. Okay, so now I'm going to create a new shortened URL to this presentation. That worked. I don't know why it doesn't like the extension, but that worked for me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this in our classroom website. And I'll show you how I do it. Why don't I just walk you through it? So let me customize this. G Suite. Let's do this. 270 G Suite. And now I'm going to say save. So cool. I'm going to copy it. I am going to go back to my tool that I used to build our classroom website. Dun, 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 dun. And the link to the presentation is right here, but watch this. I'm going to take this text. I might be blowing you some out of the water, but just ignore me if I'm losing you. And I'm going to paste it right here. And I'm just going to put shortened URL, and you will all know what that means when you come into the classroom website. I'm going to center it before I go because that'll drive me crazy. When you all come into the classroom website, you will see the shortened URL that I used bit.ly for to create that. Yay, that was pretty cool. Okay, let's jump back. So we've talked about the app launcher and the web store, and we're talking about a few extensions. I need to talk to you about another extension, and then I'll just let you explore your own extensions. Look for things, do searches for things that you might be interested in. I'm just going to show you a couple of the extensions, or point to a couple of the extensions that I've added. So here's my bit.ly. This is an extension I love. It's called DFTube, Distraction Free YouTube. The way that it works is when you look at a YouTube video, you click on this extension and it darkens everything around the video. This is a tool called Insert Learning, and this makes any website interactive. And as a teacher, you can actually create questions based on what's on the website that the students can interact with you through the website. Super cool. This is called Scribble. I'm going to come back to this because I think you're all going to want to add this extension. This extension is called Grammarly. If you aren't familiar with this, I strongly recommend you explore this and add it, especially if grammar is not your strong suit. Grammarly actually checks your grammar as you type using any tool in Chrome. So that means a Google Doc, it means an email post, it means even in D2L when you're doing a discussion for a class. It checks your grammar and gives you suggestions. Grammarly is a good tool. Okay, so you've got some ideas of some different extensions you can explore. I want to show you the tool that's called Scribble. And in order to do this, I'm going to visit ISTE again. I don't have to type it in because I created a shortcut. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the standards for educators. Yes, there are standards, technology standards for teachers and students. We'll learn about those later. Okay, I'm going to click on the Scribble toolbar and I'm going to sign in. You'll have to create an account. Not have to. You get to create an account. You're going to want to use this tool. And here's how it works. I almost answered the wrong way. It's going to ask you to answer a couple questions, fill out sorry, a couple of questions. It's not bad. I'm just going to put other. You'll walk through this step. I mean, it even gives you, fills in right away. Okay. And here's how it works. I'm going to actually close this. This is your library, and your library keeps track of any websites that you annotate on. Yes, that's what I said. You're going to be able to annotate on websites. Not only can you annotate on websites, but you can also save them and share them and cite them. So let's take a look at how we can do this. So I've got my Scribble account set up. I'm going to go to the website that I want to annotate, and I'm going to click on my Scribble extension. When I do that, and you might not be able to see this because it might be cut off from my video tutorial. That's okay. When you do it, you'll be able to tell. You have tools at the bottom of your screen, and you have tools over here on the side of your screen. This is the one I think is really cool. You can actually do citations from this page. And then you have annotation tools. Some of the tools you have are a highlighter, a note taker, a text creator, and you can visit your library from here, and you can share this website out with other people. So let me show you how it works. I'm going to go to some text that I think is relevant, and I'm going to highlight it. Now, these things that are popping up, that's the website built in. So I'm going to go click on my highlighter, and if you look, I have this pink highlighter. I can change the color, and I'm going to highlight what I think is important. And I'm just going to end it right there. And I've made a highlight. That highlight is not only going to stay in this web page, but this page has automatically been saved to my library. Now I'll show you another feature. I'm going to click off the highlighter, and I'm going to click on the sticky note, and you can see that the little comments popped up, and now I have this little dialog box. And so if I highlight something, then what happens is I can put a little sticky note in there. Oops. Okay, so I'm just putting that in there as a little note. Now, I also said, remember that you can, I'm going to click off the note, so that puts my cursor back to normal. Notice the note stayed, and I can actually close this if I want to, and it shows me right here. I have this little note, one note. Now, if I click over here, I can actually cite the information on this page, and I can choose the citation type, or style is probably a better word, and then I can start to fill this out, and when I get done, there is a citation that I can copy and paste into my document that I'm creating. Yeah, are you kidding me? Isn't that crazy? Like, so much of the work is done for you when you use this tool. I'm just going to jump really quickly back to my library. Let me close this. And you can see the website that I was annotating automatically shows up in my library now because I made one annotation on it and it automatically appears. If I want to see the annotations that I've made, it even shows me a list of those. I can create the bibliography or see the bibliography that I created. I didn't get there yet. Remember, I didn't finish the process, but you will see it when you get it done. I mean, it's really a cool tool and it's free. Now, there are paid for versions or limited, like this one says 14 days left. You can use Scribble for free, you just have limited features built in. The annotation, the saving it to your library, and the citation tool are all built into the free tool. So I would strongly encourage you to continue to use Scribble after it's done. All right, we have looked at Google Chrome, we've looked at the app launcher and the web store, we've looked at extensions and bookmarking. So I think we're sitting pretty good. Let's take a look at Google Drive. If you have never used Google Drive, now is the time to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to grab a new tab, and I am going to use I can use my app launcher, or it might even appear in the recently used tools. So I can just click right here as well. So I can go to apps, sneak over here, and click on Drive, or I could use that recently used as well. This is my Google Drive. Anything that I create in Google Drive will appear in this area. You can change the way that your drive looks if you want. If I click here, then I have these icons, which I do not like. I'm a list person, so that's why I have it listed like this. Notice there are some icons that stay though. This is my quick access. This shows up for anything, hi Yolanda, this shows up for anything that I have been looking at or working on recently. And then because I just clicked on my drive, it shows the items that I have in my drive, and I have it organized by name. Notice I can click on different options to change the way I want it to be organized. So last modified, I want it to be last modified. There we go. And so now it will change that to show me in that order. I like name, so I'm going to go back to name. Okay. Now, in Google Drive, this is where you start to create. And I know a lot of you've already done this, but just in case there are people who have not. So notice I have created some folders, and your folders will show up under my drive if you click on this little expansion arrow. I've created folders, and one of the folders I've created is EDU 270. And when we go in here, there's things that are in here that I'll be using throughout the semester. And this will, of course, grow as we go. Here's the folder for our class specifically. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to create a new document and share it with me. So I'm going to click on New. I want you to see all the things that you can create. So I can create a new folder if I needed to. And then I have all of these tools. And this is the cool thing, guys. I don't know if you're aware of this, but you can even, this is where you get more apps. So remember how I was talking about apps, extensions, and add-ons. Here's where I can get more apps. This is where I can go to the web store and see the apps that are available to me. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that just so you can see it. And I might type something in like voice, and I have no idea if there's something here for me. So I'm going to say, oh, sorry, I'm not going to, maybe speak. We'll see if we can find something. Nope. All right, let me try. Haha, here we go. How fun is this? I could actually install a word search game or a spell checker. So those are just extra tools that are outside of the extensions that you build that you can add to Google Classroom. I want you to see a couple of tools. You'll see a lot of these later on in the semester. So this is a tool we'll look at later. And then we'll connect more apps as we go. So just know that you can add more apps, okay? All right, I'm going to click on Google Docs. And here's the Grammarly extension showing up. I'm not currently logged in right now. That's why it's got this little thing. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with my Google account. Okay. And now I'm going to, I don't want to see that, so go away. There we go. I'm going to start using my Google Doc, and I am actually going to close this Grammarly because it automatically pops up when I make a mistake. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a Google Doc, and I always start, come on, by naming it. So I'm going to call it my last name, introduction. Now, do you see how Grammarly popped up? It said, hey, I think I might have a suggestion for this document. I'm going to ignore it for now. Okay, so you're going to start a Google Doc, and it's going to be an introduction of yourself. I'd like for you to write several paragraphs that tell me about you. How far are you in your education? Tell me about your family and your hobbies and your pets and your pastimes. And then I want you to tell me what your goals are for this class. And then I want you to tell me what your goals are as you become a teacher. Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to write that bit of information, a couple of paragraphs for me, and then you're going to share it with me. How do you share a Google Doc? Super easy. There's a giant button right here that says share. Right now it says it's private, but when I click on share, what I do is I simply type in the email address to the person that I want to share it with. I'm going to type in a different email address than the one that I'm currently using. So that was my school email address. And then you want to leave notify people selected and possibly even write a quick note. Oops, sorry. Haha. Okay, so just a quick note to tell me that this is the assignment, and you click send, and ta-da, you've shared the document with me. That is super easy, I think. I hope you think so too. That's one of the first assignments that you will do, and that gives you an idea of Google Drive, I hope. Okay, now let's see. We have a couple of things that we have to do. I'm really hoping you go through this presentation. There's a lot more in it, and you go through and read the different pieces of information I've put in here. I've even given you resources that I think you're going to want to know, like tutorials and articles that you might want to read. I am going to jump to one of the areas that I think is most important, especially for this class. Now, just because I jumped through those slides does not mean that they are not important. It just means I want to make sure I'm covering the things that you're going to have assignments on. So make sure that you take some time to explore those other tools. As a teacher, you're going to need to know how to use those tools. All right. When you use Google Classroom, there's a big secret that you get to learn. You don't need to understand Google Drive, because Google Classroom automatically integrates with Google Drive and arranges and organizes everything for you. You can post announcements for your class. You can create assignments, and you can grade the assignments. You can even reply back to students' assignments without touching their work, without touching the integrity of their work. You can share websites and other tools easily with your class. You can even add other Google tools to your assignments and to your posts, and your students can add Google tools to their assignments back to you. The really cool thing is everything is super organized, so you are able to see and navigate very easily. Okay, let's take a look at Google Classroom because this is one of your assignments for this week. When you go to classroom.google.com, it will look something like this. Now I'm in the teacher view version, so let me just jump to a different account and I'll go to Google Classroom, and this is what it will look like as a student. You have 3 areas across the top. The stream is where everything shows up. It's kind of like announcements to you. Classwork is where all of your class will show up, and it will be organized by topics. Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. Under each topic will be your assignments. Under Unit 1, there are 2 assignments, Post 1 and Post 2. So I think that will make sense to you. I'm going to jump back to my teacher side so you can see this. When I go to classwork and I click on things, I actually get to see how many people have turned in the assignment, and I'm just going to click on this. And as you turn it in, your work will appear over here. Actually, you will appear over here once you sign up for Google Classroom, and then your work will appear over here, and I can grade it, and I can respond to you inside these tools. So it's super, super cool. Here's where I'll be putting grades in here, and then I will transfer them over to D2L. It's super easy for me to look at the classwork, look at what you've turned in, and then put grades in right inside your work. And so then it's very easy for me to then transfer those to D2L. I think you're really going to like Google Classroom, not only as a student, but once you become a teacher, because it's super straightforward and easy to use. All right, the directions for joining Google Classroom are actually on our Classroom website, but I just want to show you this really quickly. I'm going to click on Stream, and here's the class code right here that you're going to use to join Google Classroom. This is on our Classroom website, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you are able to get started with posts. I'm going to have another video available to you that I'm going to show you Wakelet and Symbaloo, so you'll have those available as well. Okay, let's just recap for a quick second. Let's back up for a quick second. For Unit 1, you're going to create a Google account if you don't already have one. And then you're going to go to Google Classroom, and you're going to click on the plus sign, and you're going to click Join, and then you're going to put in the class code for EDU 270, which is right here. And then you're going to go to classwork and go to Unit 1. You can please read the scoring rubric. I do think that's super important. Read the scoring rubric and then go to Unit 1, and you're going to see 2 posts. Okay? When you are done with those, you're done with Unit 1. I hope. All right, let me do this really quickly. I hope this has made sense. I feel like I've given you a ton of information in this one video, and so it might be a little bit confusing. So I'm not worried at all if you need to text me or email me or come to class on the 26th. Absolutely, that's what I'm here for. Just remember to do the attendance sheet before you show up so I know who's going to be there. And I'll walk you through, and I'll re-show, and I'll answer questions, and we'll work through this together. You do not have to worry about any of that. I promise. It's might be a little weird right now, but as the semester goes, we'll get into this rhythm and you'll get comfortable and I'll get comfortable and we are all going to be successful. Okay, I better go. I know that I have a press conference that's coming up that I need to watch to find out if I'm going to be going to school tomorrow or not. So I hope you all have a great day, a great week, and I will see you all soon.